Today, find more leads than you can even process. That's multiple listing service. That's the MLS for your real estate agents. Absentee owner information. Find the cash buyers and flippers in any market nationwide. Pull a pre-foreclosure list. And don't forget, you got to find those comps. Get nationwide access with multiple filters. Powered by PropStream at wokesource.com. Get your 7-day free trial today. Wokesource.com. That's wokesource.com.
Get your free real estate joint venture agreement and get notified of upcoming shows. Text JV to 636-330-1444.
Today's broadcast is being brought to you by WokeSkipTracing.com. Look up phone numbers and email addresses with ease, with pricing as low as only 15 cents per match. Not per search, per match. If there's no number or email address, you don't pay. Get accurate data in just minutes. WokeSkipTracing.com. That's WokeSkipTracing.com. You may have heard the saying, the fortunes are in the follow-up. Now there's a brand new system that is great to help you cold call, text message, drop voicemails, and so much more, all automated. You don't have to remember anything. Just set it and forget it. All you have to do is speak to people. Check it out, wokereply.com. It's a multi-touch marketing campaign where you can schedule to send text, voicemail, email, and even live calls all on autopilot. Check it out today, wokereply.com. That's wokereply.com.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, women and children of all ages. It's about that time. It's Monday Night Raw, real estate style. What's going on, party people? Hopefully you're having yourself a great rest of August. We're about to go into September. Hopefully you're out here swinging and bucking and swinging. This is the Woke Real Estate Podcast, where we talk about real estate, entrepreneurship, and getting to the bag. And today I got a special guest coming in. It's going to actually do that for sure, telling you how he made $90,000 on a wholesale deal. Oh my goodness. Right here in St. Louis. So if you are just coming in, go ahead and put in where you're coming in from so I can give you a shout out. Let me know where you're coming in from and put your name in, and we'll shout you out real quick before we get started with the show. Like I said, this is something we do on Monday nights. The Woke Real Estate Podcast. Give this video a thumbs up. Give it a like. Give it a share. It's about time, y'all. We about to get it popping.
And we have Mr. I Stay Woke. And Mr. I Stay.
What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? This is the student master teacher, Mr. I Stay Woke, Chris Monroe, and I'm right back at you with another real estate video. Today's broadcast is being brought to you by WokeRealEstate.com, your one-stop shop for everything you need to learn real estate, to do real estate, and get to the bag. Let's see who we got up in here before we get this thing popping. Looks like we got D. Howard in Milwaukee. What up? Good to see you. Glad to have you on over on YouTube. What about The Investor? Good evening, straight out of the Lou. That's right. We represent, you know how it is. Let's see who else we got up here. We got St. Louis in the house. What's up, Richard? Portland, Oregon. I see you. I see you. Sierra. Lucy. What up, Lucy? Glad to see you as well. And she sells St. Louis. Is that Destiny? Oh, where you been hiding? Destiny, I ain't seen you in a month of Sundays. Glad to have you as well. Let's see. Who else we got up in here? Let's see. Roy. What up, Roy? I see you. I see you, Coach. Oh, y'all. I see. So glad we got some people up in here. Y'all are in for a special treat. We got my guy Bryson. He's in the green room. He's about to come out swinging and bucking and swinging. So listen in close. We're going to go in the deep dive about real estate investing and more. So without further ado, my guy Bryson, what up? Welcome to the Chris Monroe Show Woke Real Estate Podcast.
What up? What up, family? St. Louis in the building. I love to see it. Two young brothers from St. Louis collaborating. Man, I'm honored to be on the show today, bro. It's been too long. It should have happened a long time ago when we first talked about it.
Way back before the pandemic, we went through a whole pandemic and everything, huh?
Straight up, bro. Well, we made it happen.
I know that's right. So cool. So for people who may not know, who are you, Bryson, and what do you do out here in this real estate game?
I'm a real estate investor, like I hope most of the people are on here, or at least aspiring real estate investors. Primarily focus on wholesaling, and that is, contracting discounted deals and assigning them or selling them to cash buyers. So I'm in St. Louis. I pretty much market to St. Louis County metro area and surrounding counties for the most part. So, that's what I'm focused on, homegrown, and, that's where I do business as well.
Nothing wrong with that. So tell me a little bit about before you even got into real estate. Give us a little backstory. What were you doing before you even found out about wholesaling real estate or any of this stuff that people are so hyped up about?
Yeah. So before that, I was, spent some time working for my father, at a nonprofit. Got a corporate job as well. When I first heard about wholesaling, I was coming out of a terrible spot in life, dealt with some personal issues, drug addiction, some legal issues as well. And I got introduced to wholesaling from, our boy, Dave Dodge, local investor here. So, I wasn't one of the people that learned about wholesaling and did their first deal and was like, oh, wow, I found the cheat code to life. Let's get it rolling. It took me a while to really have clarity around it and decide it was something that I really wanted to commit to. So, I finished my degree, got a job in project management for a corporation that did not pay me very well. So, I left that job about 8 going on almost a year and a half ago. I've been full-time in real estate since then, since May 1st, 2020.
So a year and a half in the game. Has it been pretty good, pretty bad, mixed? I mean, give us a little overview of how the first year and a half has gone so far.
Man, it's gone better than I ever could imagine, honestly. It was an adjustment. I had obviously some fear of leaving my job and that stability and really betting on myself, but I have no regrets about it. When you really decide to go in all in on real estate, I think it's a challenge to elevate your discipline, your consistency, your leadership skills if you are building out a team. And I've been embracing it. Most days haven't gone too crazy, even when it's been kind of hectic. It can be hectic at sometimes. It's not an easy thing to do. So it's been beautiful though, bro. I'd never imagined that I'd be in the place that I am today. That's for sure. At that time.
Wow. So a year and a half in the game. And I don't know if you know the answer to this. Do you know about how many deals you've closed?
Total, I have closed right around, I think like 60 total, maybe 60. Yeah, about 65 maybe.
60 plus deals in a year and a half. I just wanted to let that seep in for people that's thinking about getting into this thing called real estate investing, wholesaling, and dibbling and dabbling in it. So cool. So it's possible. I just wanted people to hear that it's even possible, because a lot of people thinking about getting in it, and I did want to talk about that a little bit too. What are some things people should even think about before they get into this game? Should they get some type of training first? Should they just jump in there and see if they can figure it out? Should they YouTube it out? What is your thought on that?
That's a good question, man. I like me, I got introduced to it, and I think this is what I would do again, is that I got with someone that was already doing it. They showed me the ins and outs, like, the process from start to finish, verbally, explaining that to me. But then, for me to really see it, I went to work for them for free. That's how I learned the game, and actually saw the process firsthand and hands-on training, in-field training. I was just willing to really do whatever I could. I mean, I didn't have any type of real estate experience, so I didn't have like too much value to add to them. They're making money in real estate. So it's like, they're like, yo, I'm not paying you. You know what I mean? So, I paid with my time and my effort to learn the game. But for me, I don't really think it's not for everybody. You know what I mean? Wholesaling is kind of for the dogs, especially in the beginning, if you don't have a lot of money to start with. So it's like, I would be extremely clear about, why you're trying to do it, what you are trying to get out of it, what's your short-term vision and long-term vision, and how that relates to, wholesaling, how you can use wholesaling as a vehicle to achieve both.
All right, Bryson, I'm gonna come with something heavy now. I'm gonna tell you what we want. We want the money, man. We want the money. We want to eat. That's what it's all about. People trying to eat. I mean, is that good enough reason, or it got to be something bigger than that?
Hey, I mean, I think that's enough to get started. I mean, I just think that I'll speak for myself that, for me, I'm only motivated by money to a certain degree, once my basic needs and stuff are taken care of. So, I mean, for me, I'm just speaking for myself,
Right.
but if you wholesaling is probably, if I'm thinking of anything that you can, start for little to nothing, it's probably has the lowest barrier to entry to make a ton of money as quick as you can in
So
wholesaling.
getting to the bag quickly. So you started off basically interning for free, learning the ropes, learning the lingo. What are some of the difficulties as you were going through trying to learn the game? Was it more about speaking to homeowners, verifying comparables, that type of stuff? What were some of the struggles you went through while you were trying to get your first deal?
All of it, bro. All of it. The struggle of being consistent in one marketing channel, being consistent at all and constantly marketing, verifying property condition, repair estimates and everything like that. And I honestly am not an expert at estimating repairs right now. But really coming in, I guess, starting from that place where overcoming that mental battle of like, okay, I am calling somebody to make them an offer on a property or prospect them to see if they're interested in selling their property. And I don't own any property. I don't really know all that much, but also still having the confidence to have that conversation. You know what I mean? I think that's like, your students probably tell you, our students in flight school say the same thing. I mean, that's usually the biggest thing is talking to people, converting
Do
leads.
you feel like that's one of the things that people really need to focus on, learning how to communicate effectively? Or is it all about, oh, I got to go look at the house and make sure I know every little detail, nook and cranny?
Nah, I mean, sales trumps everything. Sales trumps everything, in my opinion. Talking to people, having good conversations with hopefully motivated property owners, distressed property owners. That's what it's all about. Other stuff is learned through experience. You know what I mean? You go through a property, you get buyer's feedback, you go with a contractor, things like that can be figured out. And we make mistakes. Me and you both have made plenty of mistakes where we've, underestimated rehabs, like, and, I know my advice that I was given is like, hey, find opportunity, take a shot. Worst thing that you can do is be wrong. You know what I mean? And in wholesaling, it's not that much risk if you're wrong.
I know that's right. It's virtually no risk if you have the proper paperwork. So people that are just jumping in over on Clubhouse or people listening in on Instagram, we are streaming live right now with Bryson. If you want to get the full experience, hop on over to the YouTube channel at ChrisMonroeSTL so you can see what we're talking about, because we're about to dig down deep into this $90,000 wholesale deal. So I guess let's go into that, Bryson. How did you find it? How did this happen? Give us the overview on how this deal came about.
Yeah, so this was a wholesale deal in St. Louis, Missouri, South St. Louis, good area. If you guys are from St. Louis, Benton Park, Soulard area. And I got it was a vacant property. We reached out to the seller, via multiple marketing channels. We tried to reach out to them via text message. We sent them through multiple rounds of text messages and different campaigns, as well as in cold calling. I think we first started to reach out to them in the fall of last year, maybe around October, if I'm not mistaken. And we couldn't reach them. We had a bunch of wrong numbers in our system, a bunch of bad numbers, numbers that were disconnected. Never sent them direct mail. We weren't doing that at the time. And we just kept on reaching out to them. They were high equity. The seller had moved out of the property years ago, and was no longer at that address, and they got a new mailing address. So I think we skip traced them another time, and we finally reached the seller's son-in-law, and they happened to be interested in selling at that time and motivated. The property was very distressed, water damage, mold, you name it, full gut rehab. We tracked them, finally got in touch with them in maybe the beginning of April or the end of March. We set up a time to come and see the property, and they were asking about fit. I know I'm going on a rant, so if you have questions,
you're good. Let me stop you right quick because we got you're good. We like rants. Some people learn from that, they like to hear the little details. So,
absolutely.
What made it that you? What was it that made you want to continue to look for this person? You knew it was high equity, or I guess maybe free and clear. Was it free and clear, or they had a loan?
Oh man.
Don't choke on the water.
My bad. It was free and clear.
So free and clear, and you did also mention that these homeowners were motivated to sell. What was their motivation?
They couldn't do anything with the house, really. I mean, they had as an elderly seller, her daughter was on the property as well. They had a will set up and everything. I guess she had signed it over to her daughter because she is elderly, and they had no intentions of doing anything with the property. I mean, it wasn't a property that most people wouldn't list a property in that condition,
So it was really bad. I mean,
really
bad. They needed mold and all type of stuff. Give me an idea of approximate repairs. What do you think you need? 100,000, less than that?
150,000.
$150,000 rehab, easy.
Yep, easy.
So full gun rehab for people that like to call them out.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, it was some of the property had been ripped out because of the water damage. They did some of that, gutting to start on the second floor, at least where the damage was. It was previously a 2-family, and no, it actually, it was previously operating as a 2-family, but it was a single-family conversion.
Okay, so it was a 2-family before, but then it got switched to a single.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, perfect. So talk to me a little bit about the negotiations part. You found them, the conversation. What did you say to them? What was the magic words you said to them to make them put that black ink on white paper?
Yeah, so I see one of the questions somebody asked, are you pre-qualifying before you go on to see the property? I know. Yeah, for sure. But that just kind of goes into my answer as well. And there was interest from another investor in the neighborhood. I think she lived close by the property, and she was offering, right around about what I got it under contract at. And when I first talked to the seller, they were asking 50,000, so I mean, clearly with the spread, 55 or something, I think was the first thing number. So I'm like, okay, I mean, like he's already, it's a deal at 55, if we're going to be honest, you know what I mean? But what I know about sales, I mean, you guys can formulate your own opinions or beliefs around this, but I'm not accepting anybody's offer straight up. If somebody has an asking price, I'm never going to accept it. That's just my belief. It doesn't matter if it's a deal already. I'm negotiating lower.
So where did they come up with this $50,000 price point at? They just made that number up, or where did they come up with that number from?
He was like, this is what we want. This is what we think it's worth. That's what he said. I asked him the question like, oh, what's $55,000 going to do for you guys? What's next after you guys sell the property? What's your goal of selling it and, going forward? And they were like, we just want to be done with it. So there wasn't any particular reason, he got that. And I think it was based off of like, he had someone else interested, I think around 50 at some point that he knows, but they weren't trying to take on that type of project. And so what he said, yeah, exactly. So absolutely. So what I did was, I did set an appointment because right now, 9 times out of 10 deals, I'm not going to the property before I have it under contract.
All right, now wait a minute, Bryson. You got to say that again for the people in the back. What was that again?
Yeah, so usually I don't go to see the property before I make an offer or get a property under contract. That's not my business model. I will, I don't have a problem. I'm not against it, but I negotiate over the phone. Can estimate, repair costs based on people's description, and I get a contract and then start an inspection process, or get buyers, partners, anyone in to see the property, contractor, whatever it is, pictures, whatever I need to do to market the deal. So yeah, I did meet them there at that time.
Like virtual, you want to already have it under contract before you jump in your car, waste a bunch of gas going over there to talk to a tire kicker. You want a DocuSign, a hello sign, or something signed before you even go to the property.
Ideally. Yeah, it's every once in a while I do, come across somebody that's just absolutely against it, and that's fine, and what I do is at least just make sure before I get in the car to see a property, I'm just if we're going to schedule an appointment, I'm very clear on setting expectations and very clear on my intentions, so I say, hey, before we schedule an appointment, I just want to let you know that my goal is to verify the condition at the property. And, once we agree on a price, my plan is, for us to get an agreement in writing while I'm on the appointment. Is there anything that would, get in the way from you moving forward with me that day? So I just want to, say, okay, if we're coming to the property, I'm coming to make a deal. And I want to know now, like, what would stop you from signing that other than us agreeing on the price? And I'm only scheduling that appointment if we're close enough anyways. If we're not in the same ballpark, then I'm not scheduling the appointment anyways.
No reason to go out there, right? You're wasting time.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know. Like my first 3 deals, I never met those people, the sellers and some of the buyers. It was virtual. I came in the game virtual. So once you come in that way, it's hard to go the other way and be like, let me run out to every house to call. That is work, right?
Absolutely. It's and we know, bigger companies, even in our town, they're heavy, their appointment. Cool. Somebody's interested, schedule an appointment. And they got, acquisitions guys going out to, 5 appointments or more a day.
So let me ask you this then, Bryson, since some people are going out to appointments here in St. Louis and you're doing it virtually, do you think any of the deals you've done, you beat them to the punch while they waiting for an appointment? You put it under contract already and was moving forward?
100%. 100%. I know that because, they'll tell me that they have somebody coming to see the property next week. I'm like, word, okay.
Right. Well,
and I've locked it up.
We already signed up.
Yeah. I'm like, shoot, okay, now it's just one of those things about being clear and communicating effectively.
Most definitely. So let's see. Somebody over on Facebook wants to know, how long is your inspection period?
It depends. I'm trying to be at a minimum of 21 days. That's just me. Sometimes it's 30, sometimes it's, I've done inspection periods of 14 days. I've done inspection periods of 7 days sometimes, depending on the nature of the deal. But I always try you should just try to get it as long as possible. That's what I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah. Try to get as much time this day or sooner, and depending on your paperwork, because mine's even adds an additional 30 days after assignment. And then it also adds an additional 120 days to clear any title issues in the event that pops up. Do you have some type of verbiage like that in your paperwork?
It's just 30 days. If there can't, if something's wrong, they can't produce marketable title, that we get still can be, have contractual interest in the property.
Most definitely. So we negotiated with them. They wanted 55. We brought it all the way down, and you ended up getting it under contract for how much?
We got it under contract for 30.
30K. We got them from 55 to 30, and it was a deal at 55, but we got it down to 30 anyway. What do you say to people that feel like, and I'm playing devil's advocate here? Oh, you could have gave them more money, Bryson. What do you say to those people?
I tell them that I am a capitalist. That's what I say.
You agreed it.
I mean, I don't like. I mean, people. You have to realize, like, I didn't like make them sign paperwork. I mean, I'm an investor. I do this to profit. You know what I mean? So anyone who is in business is trying to profit as much as possible with also providing a service or a product. So if I can provide a service that they're satisfied, which they also did a testimonial for that service that we provided them, how is that a bad deal? They were happy enough to do that, to give us a shout out of the company and be happy with our services. So I mean, it just is what it is. I'm trying to get the best deal possible on anything that I acquire, business or not,
And some people don't even realize this stuff's made up anyway. Prices is made up anyway.
Hey, you can't. Hey, if you sign a legal document, it's a fair exchange.
Exactly. I know that's right. Jonathan over here on Facebook says, man, this is definitely a game changer. I now see how much time I have wasted going to see some properties. Wow.
Yeah.
And Don Daniel over here on YouTube wants to know, what questions do you ask the seller over the phone to determine if it's a good deal?
I'm not sure I really understand that question. To determine, I'm guessing they just mean like qualifying them, or I can't really. Yeah, because I mean the market will determine if it's a good deal, based on where you can get it or what price you can agree on. So I mean, I questions that I ask the seller, I guess, to just qualify them is property condition questions like that. I ask them if there is rehab. I'm always trying to form questions that going negative. If they're like, oh yeah, it hasn't, or really asking questions to see why is this property vacant. You know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to get to the bottom of. Oh, okay, it only needs a few repairs. I mean, it's in Florissant. We know where Florissant is, good rental market. Why don't you just put the few $1,000s in it to get back rented? You said it's in good condition. Have you thought about that? I'm always just trying to figure out, position myself where, I need them to make it make sense in their mind that I'm a good option for them.
So you're not necessarily selling them and making them think that I'm the man. You just saying, hey, what's your plan? And then you making them come to you. Like, have you ever thought about just listening with an agent? Have you thought about just fixing it up yourself? Have you ever thought about whatever options you want to eliminate and talk about the elephant in the room? All the objections that they might bring to you later, let's confront that early. Is that what you're saying?
Straight up, right on the beginning. I want to, I want to eliminate all the options, pretty much, go for roadblocks or, potential objections up front. I don't want them to, I want to get that out of the way before we really start to form, go down the road of any type of negotiation. Maybe they have an asking price that they've told me, but I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. At that price, you should list it with a realtor, or, have you thought about listing it? Other things I'm asking is, what's the goal of them selling the property? What's more important what's the most important thing in them selling? Is it the time, the money? Is it something else? Is there any other factor that's going into making this decision? Everything
100%.
else is property condition. Obviously, it helps if there is a significant amount of work and, this person isn't in real estate, but they own real estate. It's, chances are they're not going to have the capacity to rehab a property. Most people don't.
Yeah, especially when it needs $150,000 worth of work. That's quite a bit of work there. And so
Yeah.
John Lewis wants to know over here on YouTube, when you're doing your calls, do you analyze the property right then and there? How are you making your offer so fast?
Yeah, so I try to do, based on their information. If they can give me enough information, then, depending on the market, I'm doing basic repair estimates, price per square footage for rentals. If I'm saying, great, it's just a rental property in, a Jennings or something like that. John knows where that is. I'm like, great, we can put, most investors will put $10 a square foot in there. Just a little quick cosmetics. Let me just say that. If it's just a quick cosmetic rehab, great. If I have to add on, an extra 5K or something for HVAC repairs, something like that, then I just do it like that. Small roof like that, put another 4K on it. And, people like, John should know this. He probably knows more than I do about estimating repairs. And then I look at, depending on the nature of the property and the market, or neighborhood it's in, if it's more fit to be rehabbed and flipped to an owner occupant, I'm looking at, those retail comps. I'm looking at, okay, great. This is the height of that market. This is what retail buyers are paying in this cycle of the market. I can use that as the comps, and then, reverse engineering based on what kind of discount and profit my buyers need, and making an offer according to that in the repair costs. So pretty simple. I mean, in a rental market, it's even easier. We got things like cash comps that you can search if you have MLS access, cash comps if you have PropStream access, and looking at who owns those properties. I could say, bam, this is another 3-1 that's around 1,000 square feet. I see that an investor bought this. I see that they still owned it, and, maybe it's rehab now. I can usually see the condition that they bought it in and use that as some type of baseline to make an offer. I know that these 3 average cash comps, all bought by investors, all are now rental properties. I can use that as good comparables to, anchor where my offer would be. And I can say, okay, I mean, I know investors are paying around this, then they're in similar condition. Maybe if it's a little bit extra, put a little bit of that cooked into your offer and, go low. Go low.
Makes sense, because
Go low,
sometimes they'll go lower than what we're even thinking. Sometimes that can happen too. That's why, what do you think about that? Do you say a number first, or do you try to let them say a number on what they want first as far as negotiating?
Yeah, I need a number from them, something to start with, I need something like.
They say he who says a number first loses, but I don't know. Is that a real rule, or is that just made up?
It is, I mean, it's happened where I have and still gotten a deal out of it. It was it depends on the level of savviness that the people have, because I've had a red seller that is, more involved in most, I should say, sellers in real estate, and also, pretty financially savvy, so he had some sales techniques himself. We still got a deal done, but it was just one of the times where I did make an offer and I didn't see that much opportunity there. We made something work, but I'm always going to try to get a number to start with.
Makes sense. So for people that's just jumping in, we're streaming live on YouTube with Bryson. If you're listening over here on Clubhouse or on Instagram, you can hop over to the YouTube channel if you want to get the full experience and see our pretty mugs. We're talking about this real estate deal that he just closed recently, a couple of months ago, and made $90K. So you put this deal under contract. Talk to me a little bit about finding that end buyer. What are some of the tactics you use? What was some of the feedback you got? What happened when you were looking for a cash buyer to take on this house that needs massive amount of work?
Yeah, so I mean, I knew I wouldn't have any trouble in disposition just because of how hot the neighborhood was. I mean, we're talking about Benton Park, and this is in the spring. You know what I mean? So there was plenty of interest on the property. So, I had plenty of time in my inspection period. So I just sat back and was like, cool, I'll just take the highest and best when it comes down to it.
What did you send it out at?
And say that again.
How much did you send it out at to your buyers?
I sent it out pretty high, bro. Like I'm not gonna lie, bro.
Wait a minute. You trying to bust heads right off the rip? You know you got this for 30, then you get 230 off somebody. Is that what you did?
I mean, we wasn't crazy, bro. Like I sent it out for 140.
Oh, that ain't bad.
It was high, but not crazy high. You know what I mean? People were coming in. And also I marketed it wide. I blasted, a decent amount of people, also marketed on social media, inside of investment groups, and, tons of people, came back with offers, a bunch of interest around, like the 85 to low hundreds range, like right off the bat. But I was just waiting around like, okay, some people there was a time where, it was a little bit slower in the disposition, and I was like, maybe I might take this, like, it was like, I think 105 or something around there. And yeah, it just, they weren't really that serious anyways, for whatever reason.
They were wholesalers, Bryson. Come on, some wholesalers.
Yeah, no, these weren't. These actually were not. These were not. These were vetted buyers who do tons of rehabs over there, and they just, they weren't. There's different levels of buyers. There's the buyers that do volume flips, and they have their crew and have, they're doing 4 rehabs at a time. Big rehabs. So they have that going. So, they're a little bit different. Than you got the person that's like, yo, I want to spend more time at the rehab, and I do this more so because I love the craft. I like to do some of the work. They're gonna buy less, but they're gonna pay more.
That's the people we want. We want who gonna pay more, for sure. So yes,
absolutely.
So we marketed out to the buyers. Was this house so bad that people couldn't even go in it to check it out? Talk to me about the inspection as far as the buyers. Were they getting inside the building, going upstairs, or was it that raggedy where they just have to kind of look from the outside?
I mean, yeah, you could go in. A couple of buyers were like, yeah, I'm not going upstairs, bro. Like, they saw a lot of the damage, and they were like, how bad is it up there? I mean, we'll just estimate that it's a full rehab. I'm not going up to the 2nd and 3rd floor. But yeah, you could access it. It was hazardous. I'll say that. You probably should have had some type of mask on or something like that. I would recommend it. Me, I've seen worse, so it wasn't any trouble for me. But other people, definitely were a little bit scared off. A lot of buyers just didn't have it in their bandwidth to complete that type of rehab at the time.
So wait a minute. So did you ever go in this thing upstairs yourself, or you did this whole deal from basically never going into the property or never really going inside?
No, I went there. I went there because this was actually one of the times where I did meet them at the property before. Like, I negotiated them down. I'm like, okay. I started doing some research on my own. I'm like, whatever, it's a deal. I know if I go there, I can get them down a little bit if I meet them in person, and I did. So that was one of the times. So I had seen the whole property, and once I saw it, really saw the neighborhood, other rehabs that were going on, I was like, oh yeah, we got one.
I know that's right. All right, so let's see. I'll take a couple of questions real quick. Somebody over here, Rodney on YouTube, says, loving the content. What is the best way to market if you want to wholesale virtually out of state?
That's a good question. I don't virtually wholesale out of state. I will, joint venture with some people that are out of state. If they bring us a deal, hey, you have buyers there, because, like me, as Chris as well, we have a pretty good network of investors, in multiple states. So we do utilize it that way. But in terms of, being out of state and virtually wholesaling in a different market, I mean, the people that I know that do it, they market the same way I do. You know, they
100%.
find, you know,
So
yeah,
yeah,
do
you can
some
do
market
that.
analysis, you know, really figure out the buyer activity and selling activity in whatever markets you're interested in. I'd reach out to people that are in the market, wholesalers, buy, you know, also vetted buyers or people that are buying at all, maybe even real estate agents to really see the market conditions and potential. Also the size of the market and median sales price. All those are factors that will definitely, you know, help you make a better decision.
Most definitely. And if you are looking to get a free trial to PropStream, go to wokesource.com. You can get cash buyers nationwide, real cash buyers who actually close on deals, not people who claim they're buyers. Go check that out. Get a free trial, wokesource.com. Let's see what we got here. Another question about that. Let's see here. Where did you find this deal? PropStream, or you said you pulled it from a vacant list? Where'd you get that list at?
So this it wasn't from PropStream. I mean, it was, we initially bought the data from ListSource, just equity data. You know, we buy it twice a year now. So, you know, it wasn't like a super niche, you know, list or anything like that. Vacancy for me, vacancy is prioritized. You know, it's great if it's on all these financial, you know, it's great if a property has financial factors, liens, you know, maybe they are pre-foreclosure, some type of thing, but let's say outside of pre-foreclosure, because it is something that's urgent. Vacancy is usually my top priority if property's vacant.
So you know
If a
somebody's
property's
losing
vacant,
money
it's a
because they're
problem.
paying taxes, they're paying insurance, they're paying something on their property and it's not bringing in any money. So a vacant property is automatically something that may have a chance that you can do a deal with.
I believe so. I mean, there's plenty of people that we talk to that have multiple liens on their property and are not in any way interested in an offer or selling it.
Yeah, I tell people that all the time. I'm like, you got to catch the homeowner. They're like, oh, I see this house. That's great. You got to find the homeowner, see if they're even interested in selling, and then you got to see if they can sell at a deal that you can actually make something on. So there's some steps to this stuff.
Absolutely.
People like to skip over the steps.
Right.
So let's see here. Reggie Davis over here on Facebook says, do you do any type of background title checks after you get the property under contract?
I really don't. There is a couple times where, you know, I looked up, you know, some lien situations when I, like, right as I was contracting it, and I, you know, sent it to someone that is in that field to get me a little bit more information before we actually opened up escrow, just because I wanted to know what we were up against, you know, to kind of give them, because, you know, we are on a timeline, you know, so I'm like, okay, let's get in front of this. You know what I mean? I know there's going to be some type of issue or title issues, but generally, honestly, I don't. You know, I try to, unless I, like I said, unless it's the seller has told me about something, lien or issue, judgment, some type of inheritance. You know, if they said that, or something's weird when I look up on the tax records based on who I'm talking to, and they say some story, oh yeah, that's in my brother's name. You know how people are
Mhm.
weird. Let's just say that people do different things for whatever. Oh yeah, that's in my son's name, but it's my property, and you know,
Yeah, I had a
it
deal like that one time. A dude
it
said
just
it's in my
happens.
son's name, but he'll sign because I tell him to. And I'm like, okay, as long as he signed it. He signed that bad boy, and we closed that deal out.
Right. I literally I just talked to somebody last week like that. I'm like, if you say so, okay, I guess we'll find out, you know?
That's right.
So
That's right.
yeah,
So people that's just hopping in, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, give it a like, give it a share. We're talking to Bryson here, talking about this deal he just closed and real estate in general. And we're in a Q&A right now. Don Daniel over on YouTube wants to know, when the seller still owes on a mortgage, how do you negotiate that price with them? Is it worth negotiating when it's in a good area?
I mean, most people have a mortgage on their property, you know? Like that most people still have an active mortgage. You know, there's not as many free and clear property owners as there is high equity or anything else, So I mean, there's going to be a mortgage. I'm guessing you mean like a higher mortgage is what I would assume. But I mean, the deal either works or it doesn't. You know what I mean? If they have, I mean, I'll be honest with you, I got a deal under contract today, and the seller's bringing $15,000 to closing. So, it doesn't really matter. I mean, the numbers either work or they won't.
Wait a minute, we got to say that one more time because some people don't catch that. The seller is bringing money to closing to sell their house.
Yep, to sell their house. Around about $15,000 to closing.
And that's what I want people to hear, because sometimes we figure that, oh, well, they owe this much, they won't work with me. Hey, a deal is a deal is a deal. You just, if you know you're buying a house cash, your numbers are what your numbers are, regardless of their mortgage. And sometimes people are willing to bring money to closing. We had a guy bringing $25K to closing. I said, damn, you hurt that bad. You want out that house. Beautiful house up in Florissant, 4-bedroom, 3-bath. They don't want the house, and they were going to bring $25K to sell the house. That's crazy.
Yep, it's probably the third time someone's brought a significant amount to closing in my career. So I try to ignore it. I mean, I try to not make assumptions about anybody's decision making. The quicker, if you're just starting, the quicker you can eliminate any assumptions out of your mind about how people are going to make their decision, what factors that you see on the surface, you'll be better in sales. I promise you that. Sometimes I used to do in the beginning to get out of this, like if my VAs would send leads into the system, I'd only look at like very little information until I got on the phone. Like I wouldn't even want to read it just because I didn't want to think about, oh, well, they owe this much, and their asking prices, right at retail. Oh, they're not motivated. It's like,
you can't assume that. You got to talk to them first, right?
Bro, like somebody has been, if you contact somebody off of cold marketing, I mean, it doesn't matter how motivated I am to sell something. If you call me about anything and want to make an offer on it, I'm asking the most possible, even if I really do want to sell and I'm motivated. That's just how I'm wired. And most people will be like, this is America. I mean, like, nobody's really in the business of giving thing away until, you really uncover their true motivation, through asking the right questions and communicating effectively.
100%. So it's all about asking the right questions, being a good listener, being a good problem solver. So that's definitely good advice right there. Let's see here. We got John Lewis with another question over on YouTube. Did the sellers see the assignment at closing, the $90,000 assignment at closing? And do you recommend assigning that or double closing those type of deals? Because, some people say, oh, if it's over 10K, you need to double close.
Yeah. So I know the sellers never see my assignment fee on any deal. So that applied with this one. I don't know. I can't speak for every state, on how they do their stuff at closing, but, I know Missouri, most will, have the assignment fee on the buyer's HUD and not the sellers, from my experience.
Yeah. So basically what we're talking about is a blind HUD or a blind alta statement. Basically, it's gonna have two different statements. One for the seller, it's gonna only have the seller information. One for the buyer. The buyer will see all of that though, right? What did the buyer say about seeing that $90,000 assignment fee? Were they like, oh man, you made too much and try to back out, or how'd that go?
Yeah. So this buyer I've never done business with this buyer before. So if I haven't done business with a buyer and I'm in the process of like nurturing that relationship, building some type of connection with them and vetting them, one of the questions that I'm always going to ask is like, hey, hypothetically, I bring you a deal and it's a good deal and it works for you and all the numbers are good where you're going to, get your target profit. What if that is, what if I make, 50K on it? What would happen? Oh, I don't care. As long as I, the numbers work for me, I don't care what you make. I want them to say that. I need them to say that, verbally express that. I wish they could give them something to sign. Sign on the dotted line.
So wait a minute. If they don't say that, what do? Get them off your list, or how does that work?
Nobody, I haven't come across anybody who's just said, no, you're not making that much money off of me. I haven't. I mean, I didn't always say that, you know what I mean? But once I started to get some more experience, I'm like, yo, this is important. I need to know if the people are, you know, we see in these Facebook groups and all types of stuff, people saying like, oh, what, you know, I would have, if I saw an assignment like that, I would go, you know, I'd go talk to the seller and all this. I'm like, wow, like you are super grimy. What are we doing here? Like, this is a business. You know what I mean? If you can't respect somebody else's business and their profit, I don't go to freaking Walmart and be like, show me your supply list. What'd you guys get this stuff for? You know what I mean?
How much you get this from China?
Like, the numbers work for me. That's why I got my credit card out and I'm at the damn register. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So
to answer the second part of John's question, do you do double closings at all, or everything's assignment? Don't even worry about it.
Not everything's assignment, you know, depending on the buyer, you know, or like, you know, say if somebody's using, you know, some people are wholesaling to people that actually have to use a mortgage or some type of, you know, loan product that's not hard money or private money. You know what I mean? It is just more conventional type lending. And most of those people will not underwrite an assignment fee into that transaction. You know, they'll double close on it, or an institutional buyer, depending on who your buyer is, will depend on that. But I'll assign everything that I possibly can assign.
Good answer right there. Lucy over here on Facebook wants to know, how many offers are you making in a week, Bryson?
I try to make a minimum of 6 offers a day.
6 offers a day.
You know, yeah. So that's my minimum. You know, I'm trying to get that up. I'm also hiring in acquisition. So yeah, I want it to be, you know, get to the point where no matter what, 10 offers are going out every single day.
So spitting them offers out, nothing wrong with that. Let's see, we got another question over here on YouTube. Do the buyer see how much you're making? Is it listed on the contract and the amount you're making in the deal? I guess he's talking about on the assignment agreement.
Yep. Yeah, they know exactly what I'm making unless I double close it. If I assign it, they know exactly, you know, yeah, they know my exact profit.
Yeah, so mine's is set up a little bit different. Mine's is set up on my assignment agreement. There is no assignment fee. It's just a total contract purchase price. Now, they will see it when they get that alter statement, but when they do the initial sign up an end buyer, all they see is a total contract purchase price. They get a copy of the original purchase and sales agreement, but the price may be omitted. It probably will be omitted if it's a large assignment fee. So that's kind of how I handle that. Capital Homes.
Yeah. That's a way to do. That's a good way to do it. I have an assignment agreement like that as well.
There you go.
I mean, I don't always use it. I just started to use that, but you know, for most people, I don't even worry about it. Like I said, unless it's a new buyer, I might pull that one out, but I don't care for most of the vetted buyers.
I know that's right. So let's see here. Francisco says a blind hood is different than a double close.
Yes. Yeah. So a blind hood is really like I don't know. Yeah, they might have just came in, but Chris explained a blind HUD is essentially, you know, not putting your assignment fee or anything to do with the assignment part of the transaction on the seller's ALTA statement or HUD. I know some states, I think, still call it a HUD statement. But whatever the closing statement says, that the assignment part of it, the fee, you know, your entity, all that stuff is on the buyer side only, because really it's only affecting the buyer's, you know, closing amount anyways.
Okay, cool. So yeah, double close, you're going to have some extra closing costs. You got to factor that in if you're going to do that. So that'll be
absolutely.
A deal. All right. Don Daniel said, this is great information. I'm learning and see good deals, but I have never done wholesaling. Where do you get sellers and buyers contract for beginners? Oh, it's right there above my head. WokeRealEstate.com. Everything you need right there, Don. It's a bunch of videos right on there, a little playlist that breaks down the basics of wholesaling, and just check that out. And if you really need some information, shoot me an email. Let me put it up on the screen here. ChrisMonroeSTL. Here we go. Chris@wokerealestate.com. Just shoot me an email and I can get you plugged in to get you started, Ms. Dawn. I don't want to take it too deep because it's kind of, a lot of stuff to take in at once. But the information is here at your fingertips, right? All right, let's see who we got next up for the question before we wrap this thing up. I don't want to keep you out too long. I know it's been on here a long time. All right, let's see here. Reggie says, do any hedge funds you work with mind your assignment fees? That's a good question.
So I double close with the hedge fund buyers. I mean, a couple of them, or I should say one of them says like, they're cool with that. A couple of them have like minimums or maximums, I'm sorry, to what they wanted to pay out in an assignment fee. So yeah, to alleviate having to be with that, I'm just like, well, we can double close. There are some that, I think there's hedge funds that even require you to get the seller to sign off on your assignment fee as well, your assignment contract. Yeah, so they want, I guess, to protect any like liability or weird, standing for them.
So wait a minute, who's doing the title company, or who's making a seller sign the assignment fee too, or the assignment?
No, for them to sign your assignment fee, they need the seller to have it signed too. Like it's a whole document with that. I'm like, oh nah, yeah, I'm cool on that.
That's those hedge funds. But do they really pay more? Everybody say they pay more. Is that true?
100%.
100%. So I'll be asking those questions like, no, do they really do that? Oh, most definitely.
Bro, like I was close to giving a seller their asking price the other day. I was still close. I mean, they were pretty like negotiable up front, and the hedge fund is pretty much buying at retail.
I know that. Oh, well, if they buying it pretty much retail, hurry up and sign them up and double close, because look how much you're going to make. You could pay those extra closing costs because it's a cha-ching.
I mean, it's if you could be really, I'll give this, if you could be really good at providing things that is in a hedge fund's buy box, you legit, honestly, you could have a multiple six-figure business a year in gross profit just by using that one buyer.
Pretty easy, huh? Easy peasy lemon squeezy. All right. Brian over here on Facebook wants to know, what's your offer to deal ratio? We're getting to the numbers now.
Yeah, so right now we're right at like, I think about 15 offers per contract.
So
yeah,
one in every
I think I did the numbers. Yeah, so I did the numbers like for months in the past. It's getting better now, where we're averaging at least about three contracts a week, based on that 30 offers that we're doing now. So
cool. So
it's a little bit better now.
So we got that deal pretty much out of the way. So we got them under contract. We found a buyer. What you do with all that money, Bryson? That's what I want to know.
Bro, I kept business as usual, bro. I fed the business.
Retired off of that. That's what everybody else would do. They say almost $100 grand. I'm gonna take a vacation, take a year off. You know how people get.
Yeah, people steal. That's what they are. Thieves, stealing from the business.
Ooh, don't tell them about that. Stealing from the business. Uh-oh.
Yeah, and I actually ended up selling that deal to a seller lead. So somebody that was in our CRM, we had negotiated on a couple of his properties, and we were, it just wasn't really going anywhere. He was super firm. He wasn't motivated. So we kept in contact, but we built rapport. I knew he was another investor doing things, and we kind of would just stay in contact, and he would ask me like, hey, you know about any projects coming up or Speaking of, Brian asked that question. Brian had a rehab on somewhere in Benton Park. I don't remember, but it was a big rehab as well. And I sent the buyer to go look at that property, to drive by, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm interested." And I like told him the price that I think Brian was marketing it for, and I think I reached out to Brian, and Brian had found a buyer already. And I was like, "Yeah, it's not available. You know, he sold it already." But I kept it in mind. He's like, "Yeah, I would love a big rehab in Benton Park." So I was like, "Word." You know, so I added him to my buyers list, and he was one of the people that reached out. He was moving a little bit slower. He literally like he like rushed the process, got this buyer to close on one of his projects quicker, just so he could, make sure that he had all the funds and everything for to buy this. So he wanted it pretty bad, that's for sure.
So he was a motivated buyer. So I want to make sure people are listening to this. You can be prospecting, talking to so-called homeowners, absentee homeowners, things like this, but they can potentially become buyers. So it's so important to have the right conversation with these people, because they can be a buyer or seller at any time, right?
Or a private money lender.
Or a private money lender. They got a bunch of money sitting up in the bank doing nothing with it.
Absolutely.
I know that's right. So Big Deal Solutions over here on YouTube says, "Are you building rapport with every seller before sending an offer?"
Yeah, that is right. I didn't always do that, but I do that now. I mean, it is, yeah. I mean, you can't really make an offer, a good offer, without building rapport. Build rapport before you make an offer, and rapport is making sure that you guys understand each other. It's not, because I think people. I got you, Brian. I got you. I'll pay for golf when we make it happen. I'll pay the green fees when we get to the golf course, bro. I think a lot of, and this is the misconception that I had of, and Steve Trang talks about, I know Max Jimenez talks about this a lot, about building rapport. And it's like, I had the misconception that meant that, I needed to be friends with the seller. You know what I mean? Like, I needed to talk so much about personal things and give them so much time. And it's like, really, if you can communicate effectively, is really just understanding, what their goal is, what they're trying to do, what you can provide, maybe how you can, letting them know how you can support that and provide value, and making sure, both parties, you and the seller or anybody involved is on the same page. They're perfectly clear and have perfectly, clear expectations, and know where you stand at any point in the sales process. So I think that's the biggest thing.
So basically, are you saying that building rapport, the best rapport you can build, is solving their problem?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just came up with
I
that.
mean,
It's kind of good. Like, it's simple.
Yeah, I mean, really just understanding them, taking that's building rapport, understanding, asking clarifying questions, asking thought-provoking questions to really clarify, what they're up against. That's rapport. It's not like, oh yeah, they call you to talk about random stuff in the middle of the night. People always reach out to me and they're like, "Hey, I don't get it. The seller doesn't want to sell the property." And it's like, we built so much rapport. And I'm like, what does that mean? And it's like, yeah, they're just talking to them at random times. It's like, no, you're in the friend zone. That's what it is.
Ooh, not the friend
Like,
zone.
for me, hey, nobody's in the friend zone. It's black and white over here. No gray areas. Either we're like, I want to know when we get off the phone, are we moving forward to do business, or are we not? Or are we revisiting it at a later date? It's not like, I feel like so many times, and I know from experience about, like, being on a call and you're like, I don't even know where we stand. Like, you get off the phone, like, so what happens next? Like, do I, you know what I mean? I'm not even sure. Like, I left it so open-ended. I didn't set expectations at the end of the call or the beginning of the call, whichever one. And I think that that's a huge struggle for most people, getting started and closing deals, negotiating, talking to sellers in general.
Yeah, I know somebody that did that. They said they spoke on the phone with a lady for a whole hour just to find out she don't even want to sell.
Hey, clear the things that yeah, you need to find that out in the first sentence. I just want to confirm you are in fact ready to make a decision about selling. Am I right? I need to I need to go straight. Go straight.
Somebody just
Go
had a
straight
coming.
at it.
Somebody just had a coming to truth. Jonathan say, "Bro, that was me building too much rapport to the point where the seller just wants to be friends rather than do business."
Yeah, man, it's you got to realize, and I think, and I don't mean to sound super insensitive, but it's like, some people just need someone to talk to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and you're just that person. You called, you giving them attention. So, like most humans have the tendency to overuse anything that's usable.
Mm.
You know, take advantage of anything. That's what we naturally do as humans.
Exactly. So yeah, we definitely do that. So what is your plan? You as far as going forward in your real estate adventures, are you going to keep doing wholesaling? Do you got some buy and holds? Are you going to get more buy and holds? What's your future goals in the next 3 years?
Yeah, so I'm gonna get back to buying here soon. I mean, I'm not really too interested in buying single family rentals. If I can get them the woke real estate way on a creative acquisition, then that's something different. But
Game
you
changer.
know,
Don't tell them that, Bryce. That's a game changer.
yeah, but I mean, it's I bought rental with cash before, and I mean, I get it. If you just needed to do it and have some huge cash cows, whether it's in the city or something like that. I mean, I still understand the purpose of it, but I'm trying to get into bigger deals. That's for sure. Multifamily acquisitions and bring on some partners as well. So on that side of things, that's where I'm headed as far as buying and holding. I'm always gonna have my hands in wholesaling in some way or the other, though. Just
Makes
being
perfect
less
sense.
involved, being less involved in the day to day as I am now. Let's say that. But wholesaling is one of those things. It's a skill set. You can wholesale anything.
That's right. As long as somebody want to buy for more than you got it contracted for. So, as far as personal development stuff like that, what books, podcasts, and other resources would you recommend for somebody that wants to either get into real estate or become an entrepreneur overall?
That's a great question. So I mean, I as far as real estate, I do enjoy real estate disruptors podcast. Obviously, you are always having good guests on here that have practical wisdom from experience, and that's what I'm always looking for as far as a podcast, something that I can apply in a simple way. So I usually try to go, if I'm looking for a podcast or a book, I'm making a decision based on what I'm at least willing to work on now. You know what I mean? Not like just stuff that's like, yeah, that's great knowledge, but I'm not like I just want to learn it. It's like if it's not pertinent to like what I'm going through, what I'm struggling with, or what I'm trying to do next, like I'm not reading it or watching it or listening to it, if that
Right.
makes sense.
And a lot of people do that
So
too. People do that a lot. Like,
yeah, and
they be promoting, Uncle G, my guy Grant Cardone. They be like, oh, yeah, we're gonna do like him. Like, you're nowhere near that man's level. You need to be studying somebody that's closer to reality where you can execute on something today, not some,
absolutely.
$500 million deal that you'll never do.
Yeah, I just don't. Yeah, that's just and like I said, it's not to say. I know you're not saying that in a discouraging manner. It's just that, like, yo, if you haven't talked to a seller or done anything with real estate, it's like I wouldn't say syndication is the thing that you want to be reading about. You know, I
Right.
just, I mean, I just don't know if that's going to be the most effective thing. But starting out in just your entrepreneurial journey, things that are just foundational are, the Think and Grow Riches, How to Win Friends and Influence. Atomic Habits is a book that, I always love. about forming better behaviors, setting up your environment to build better habits in your life. Magic of Thinking Big, super simple book, easy to read, highly applicable. But yeah, I mean, the list can go on. I think it's just really, anything that is dealing with mindset. I mean, it's going to help you out the most, I think, in the beginning, building a skill set around sales or mindset.
Get your mindset right so you can take action on the information you receive. Because a lot of people study and watch a billion videos and do all the conferences. I know a guy, I'm not going to say his name on here, but I met him at like 6 different conferences. I'm like, man, you have more conferences than me. You ain't did one deal. What you waiting on?
Bro, if I got, yeah, I might know who you're talking about, but yeah, I got you.
But it happens. So don't get stuck in that, procrastination zone for sure. So I know you said you've been doing this about a year and a half. You did 60 plus deals in a year and a half already. What type of mistakes do you feel like you've learned from in that year and a half?
For me is, man, it's a ton. It's a ton. One of the biggest mistakes that, I still feel right now, still feel some of the pain of is not starting with the end in mind. Like I just started like, okay, I want to run up a bag, I want to make some money, but I didn't have like a clear vision of where I was going or where I was like trying to go. You know what I mean? I didn't like look so far, and it's perfectly fine to focus on the now and focus on what can be executed today, or the quickest, I should say. That's definitely a smart way to be. But in terms of like business, growing your business, scaling your business, building your business, I wasn't focusing on, documenting the process or doing things with the intention of delegating them. That was one of the big mistakes where, I was, and now I'm still feeling some of that pain of scaling and building too slowly. That was a big thing for me. One of the big priciest lessons. It's cost me money as well.
So
And
not
just
documenting the journey and documenting the steps to do the next thing so that you can move yourself out of the way and start working in the business and start working on the business. Is that what you're saying?
100%. 100% is really thinking about that and just from anything granular, this is what we're doing. Okay, cool. What are the things that make me money and what are the things that don't, and slowly starting to step out of the tasks that don't make you money or make you the least money.
Yep.
So that's one of the biggest
revenue
things.
generating activities, right? RGAs, revenue generating activities for sure.
Yep.
So yeah, we definitely want to do that.
Ones.
Look like somebody jumped in. They're probably just watching. So yeah, that analysis paralysis is no joke. So how do people connect with you if they want to reach out to you after they watch this podcast or watch this video or listen to this video? How do they connect with you and say, man, I kind of like that dude, Bryson. He was kind of smooth.
I like that, man. Yeah, I put my IG handle on. I think they can see it right now. Bryson Duvall on IG. My first and last name on Facebook as well. So shoot me a message. IG, Facebook doesn't really matter. I probably respond the quickest, I think, on IG. But yeah, hit me up, chop it up with me if you interested in getting into real estate or looking to collaborate. In any way, definitely down for it.
Yeah. So what is it that you are actually looking for as far as collaborations? You're looking for JV partners, money partners. What are you looking for out here?
Everything, everything that is aligned with me. People that I can build relationships with. Feed off of each other's energy, build with each other, to have some type of alignment with me. Doesn't have to be about us doing transactions together, but always open to JV partners, always open to masterminding, things like that. And I'm definitely always open to lenders and private money people as well.
There's no such thing as too much money, huh?
Right. 100%, bro.
Cool, cool. Anything else you want to share with the family before we get up out of here and do some more woke stuff?
Nah, I think we covered it. I think we answered most of the questions. Trying to look if we forgot anything. How are you getting in contact with hedge fund buyers? That's a great question.
Oh yeah, what is
Holler.
it?
It's
How are you getting in contact with hedge fund buyers? Yeah, I missed that one. Francisco.
Yeah, so I'll be honest, I got a couple of people have put me onto them, out of the kindness of their heart, shared those with me. I have been able to investigate a couple of them and get into contact with them myself. A good way is to look on the MLS and whatever zip code is like in that buy box of what a hedge fund would buy in, like B areas, maybe C plus areas as well, maybe a little bit of A type of neighborhoods depending on where you live, and filtering it by the cash buyer activity, or filtering, if you look at cash buyers for a particular area and you see the person with the most transactions, it's going to be a hedge fund. If you see an outlier that's like, yo, everybody else is like, man, the person maybe bought one, okay, I don't see them on the month or something. If you see somebody's like, how did that person or this agent represent 20 cash transactions in a month? How's that possible? So reach out to that agent. They have a lot of these people aren't like very accessible. They're not direct to seller. They're not like us. So they're corporate environment. They have gatekeepers and things like that. So it's like you get to the agent wants to do work with the wholesaler. Of course they do. They can either buy it off market or they can buy it from you. What's the difference? So get in touch with the seller.
Are you saying to go through an agent to get to the hedge fund if somebody's trying to find one?
Say that again.
Are you saying that someone should go through an agent to get to a hedge fund?
I mean, I'm just saying you can at least get a contact of their acquisitions, or you may some really only will they have a mandate or a policy that an agent's going to be paid on the transaction, whether you were in contact with an agent or not. That's just their policy. They're writing state form contracts, so they're going to pay an agent to do that and be their buyer's agent. So whatever that split is, or who's responsible for the percentage of their transaction, that's up to the hedge fund and or really it's up to the hedge fund. But yeah, you're not going to do too much negotiating on the process of things. That's just not how it's set up. But at the same time, it's like, you can still get your fees and profit even if you just go to the agent.
There you go. So hopefully that helps some people out. So I know it's a lot of people that jump into these to this live stream or jump into this video after the fact. What do you say to somebody that's brand new, thinking about getting into this? I need you to give them one good tip to somebody that's thinking about getting into wholesaling, thinking about getting into real estate. Give them a good tip they can go home with and actually execute on today or tomorrow.
One tip only. One tip only. I would say, if you are really trying to get a deal, is to just focus on one marketing channel and master that one marketing channel and work on your sales skills. Try to convert every convertible deal, every convertible lead. Just focus on that. Nothing else in the business right now. Stay off of YouTube unless it has something to do with you closing your first deal. Limit your distractions. Go narrow.
Because there's plenty of distractions out here for sure, boy. They'll get you. Because and what you said too, that is true about focusing on one marketing channel. Because my first probably 3 or 4 deals came off bandit signs. I don't even do bandit signs no more. I got to get back to the basics. Right. Bandit signs work. Absolutely. People be talking like, oh, they don't do nothing. Okay, you telling me? I know they work.
You do one thing enough, they all work. If I only do one thing, it's just gonna work. Like I just put all my energy into that. You know, you don't have to worry about all the other things, you know, different strategies, all the title company stuff. Just get a deal. Like the deal will solve everything. That will trigger not just your desire to be distracted and overworked in your brain and you know unfocused. You'll have to do it because you have a deal now. So now you need to figure it out. There's urgency. Okay, great. I need to find the now let's learn about some disposition. I got a contract and I got 30 days to sell it. You know,
Right. You're gonna
I
learn
bet you'll
quicker
learn.
than ever. You got a fire under you.
Yep.
Now you ain't got no hesitation.
Yeah. Don't worry about all the pieces. You know, get the first piece first.
The journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. But I want to say thanks again, Bryson. We appreciate you coming on and sharing your deal with us, sharing your insight and wisdom. Even though it's a short time in the game, it don't take long. I tell people it only takes a little bit of time to do a bunch of deals. It's got to get started one day, right?
100%, bro. It's been a pleasure, man. I'm honored to be with Real Estate Royalty tonight.
Real estate royalty. Roy says, I appreciate you, bros. Put out some great things in perspective for me. So cool. I'm glad we helped some people out. So if y'all like this video, give it a thumbs up, give it a share, give a shout out to my guy Bryson. Follow him on Instagram. Go on there and put some stuff on his story timeline. Say, hey, yeah, go comment. Matter of fact, that's what I want everybody to do. Go on his Instagram right now, follow him, put a comment on there. Man, I saw you on that podcast. You was on there spitting that fire.
You silly, bro. I appreciate the love. Absolutely. I appreciate everybody tuning in as well.
That's
It's
what
been
I
a
want.
pleasure.
Cool beans. We
Absolutely.
appreciate you. Thanks for coming in. All right, Bryson. Thanks for coming in. We'll catch you on the next one. All right.
Sounds good, bro. We'll talk soon, man.
All right. Peace. So that's how we do it each and every Monday night, 7 o'clock Central Time, 8 o'clock Eastern, where we're out here talking about this real estate stuff. You can do this with the proper education, the proper information, and the proper training. If you are new or you even in it a little bit and getting stuck, you might want to check out wokerealestate.com. It has all the resources that I recommend and use as far as finding homeowners, talking to homeowners. There's videos on there that goes over in detail what do we say to these people when we speak to them. All of that stuff, you can find it all at wokerealestate.com. And if you are looking to get into a group of people, join the free Facebook group, wokereigroup.com. It's a free Facebook group, wokereigroup.com. That'll take you straight to the Facebook group, and you can join in over there. There's some documents and things like that inside of the files section. You can actually go over there and download like that authorization to release information, that document, that third-party letter that you can speak to the bank on the behalf of the seller. That's available there in the Facebook group. So tap in with me there. Don't forget to follow me on all social media outlets at ChrisMonroeSTL. That's Snapchat, that's Twitter, that's Instagram, that's Facebook, that's YouTube, that's TikTok, that's Clubhouse. Oh, we got some people over here still listening on Clubhouse. All the same at ChrisMonroeSTL. So if there's anything I can do to help you in your next deal, my email address is on the screen. Chris@wokerealestate.com. Chris@wokerealestate.com. No reason not to reach out. You got a deal you're working on, you need some help with something. I'm here. I'm your humble servant. Something like that. So I'm gonna let y'all get up out of here and do some more woke stuff. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to smash the like button on the way out. All right. So do what you do. Be who you be. And I'll see you before you see me. Peace.
And we have. And we have. And we have. Mr. I stay. Whoa, 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 and Mr. I stay.
Find more leads than you can even process. That's multiple listing service. That's the MLS for your real estate agents. Absentee owner information. Find the cash buyers and flippers in any market nationwide. Pull a pre-foreclosure list. And don't forget, you got to find those comps. Get nationwide access with multiple filters. Powered by PropStream at wokesource.com. Get your 7-day free trial today. Wokesource.com. That's wokesource.com.
Get your free real estate joint venture agreement and get notified of upcoming shows. Text JV to 636 330 1444.
Today's broadcast is being brought to you by WokeSkipTracing.com. Look up phone numbers and email addresses with ease, with pricing as low as only 15 cents per match, not per search, per match. If there's no number or email address, you don't pay. Get accurate data in just minutes. WokeSkipTracing.com. That's WokeSkipTracing.com.
You may have heard the saying, the fortunes are in the follow-up. Now there's a brand new system that is great to help you cold call, text message, drop voicemails, and so much more, all automated. You don't have to remember anything. Just set it and forget it. All you have to do is speak to people. Check it out, wokereply.com. It's a multi-touch marketing campaign where you can schedule to send text, voicemail, email, and even live calls all on autopilot. Check it out today, wokereply.com. That's wokereply.com.